This office space is in desperate need of some TLC, and we're gonna do it for this guy, Dr. Matt Harris. This is his office. He's a chiropractor in Franklin, Tennessee, in the beautiful community of Berry Farms. The two main things that Dr. Matt requested for this project was adequate storage and a room that felt personalized. And this is the SketchUp design that Jess and I came up with. Plenty of storage with those cabinets, a nice fridge for water for his patients, TV mounted on the wall, and nice decorative floating shelves. Getting started, day one. Today's gonna consist of paint and securing some cabinets. So we'll get everything set up and get started here. First off, we did all of the design except for choosing the paint color. This was chosen by one of his employees who happens to be an interior designer herself. Both paint colors are by Benjamin Moore. The first one, the accent wall, is going to be Sherwood Forest, and then the white walls are going to be Glacier White. Now, for whatever reason, and there's probably a great explanation, this paint started to go on a little bit more blue than we had wanted and what our reference photo showed. But it eventually does dry green, as you can tell here. I did it. 4 hours later, and we have cabinets for this space. You can kind of see the painter's tape on the floor. Those are my measurements based on the dimensions of these cabinets. And so I'm referencing the painter's tape to be able to kind of do like a rough layout of where these cabinets are going to go. That honestly looks really good. These are from Lowe's. So I had them replace one of them because one of them had a crack down here and I didn't want to have to glue it up. They were going to give me a discount, but let me just take this one. This one's in better shape. Yeah, essentially that's it right there. And then we'll have a little mini fridge over in this corner. We'll do probably a granite countertop there. We'll do a slat wall right here, possibly the foot levelers here, but we're gonna try to come up with something a little bit better looking. And then our TV can be dead center here. And then we'll do some nice floating shelves in the corner. It's all gonna come together. It's all gonna look really good. For now, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna head home and get some rest, and we'll be back at it first thing in the morning. It's day two. Left the house around 7:30 this morning. Went to Home Depot to pick up the mini fridge that's in stock at the only Home Depot in the area. Plywood for the floating shelves, which we're gonna go do today. But I also got some coffee from Sonic. At this point, I realized I had forgotten my bar clamps at my house, and I already had the trailer and the plywood. I knew I needed to go to Murfreesboro to make these cuts because I wanted to use Ted and Wilma's miter saw. And so I decided to take a break, order the clamps online at Home Depot, go make these shelves, and wait until my order was ready for pickup. For these floating shelves, I'm using the miter box method, where you build basically a box and you use some type of supports, whether it's wood or metal, to basically just put the miter box over those supports that go into the wall. There are dozens of YouTube videos out there on how to actually construct these. Lucky for me, I had already done these miter boxes a few weeks back for another client, and so I already had the template and plans for pretty much the exact same boxes to make. And so this was a breeze for me, and I was able to run through this really quickly. Let me walk that back. I wouldn't say it was a breeze, but having already done this just a few weeks ago, having the cut list and all that good stuff, it was much easier to do this. I didn't have to use as much brain power. I just knew kind of more so what to do this go around, and was able to just do it. And don't be like me when you're doing your glue ups. Get one of those fancy brushes that can get into these little corners and not use your finger, because this is obnoxious. I should have already bought one. And by the way, with any of these projects, make sure you take precautions, use safety gear, use these tools accurately and as safely as possible. I can't stress that enough. It's very important to be mindful of what you're doing. Just a little PSA for all those that are watching. We are now back in the office. It's like 6-ish, and we've got the floating shelves done. It's actually 6 o'clock on the dot. How about that? We have the floating shelves complete. They are assembled. They are in here, clamped up, drying, all that good stuff. The next thing to do, and I want to try to accomplish tonight, is to get these cabinets started. And the studs in these walls are metal. They're not wood studs. I knew that coming into this, and then I did a little bit more research, and a lot of people talk about how just going straight into the metal studs is not strong enough to hold cabinets, especially ones that are on the wall. As soon as you put china on there, dishes or whatever, something heavy, it's going to start to bend that metal. And so it needs some sort of blocking behind there attached to the metal stud to be able to support the weight. Thankfully, we are not putting any shelves up here other than the floating shelves that are gonna go there. But I bought some industrial construction grade drywall anchors that should be perfectly fine for this. You're not gonna be putting dishes up here. It's gonna be a plant at most. So it should be fine to hold weight, and we can test it. We'll test that theory just to double check. But I'm gonna show you what we did here. So with my multi-tool, I cut out a nice picture perfect piece of drywall. Here is our metal stud. You can kind of see it on that side as well. So what I did is I bought some 2x4, cut about 10 inches to put in here. So I've got about up to here, all the way down to here, and then just secured it through the drywall. This one's through the drywall, attaching the metal stud to this piece of 2x4. And it still has a lot of give just because it's a metal stud, but it should increase the shear strength once you start to put weight on here. Now you might be thinking, well, Justin, it's on the floor, it shouldn't matter, you should be good to just go straight into it. Possibly, I really have no idea. I've never done this before. However, there is gonna be a granite countertop or a marble countertop. I have no idea what we're getting, but something heavy. It's gonna go on top of these cabinets, and I wanna make sure that the cabinets are secure and strong as possible. Even though they are not going on the wall, there is still gonna be significant weight on the cabinets. So we gotta play it safe. So the main thing is to figure out how much clearance we need to be able to open this door. At least a good bit. We can't put it directly up against that with our trim piece unless we were to bring it out here. Okay, I'm sorry. This is boring, me trying to edit this thing. Let me just kind of paraphrase what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm trying to level it, get it all placed. Ultimately, what I'm gonna do is add a couple of wood shims to the bottom right of the fridge, between the fridge and that partition board, just so that it doesn't move to the right any, and I don't have to worry about actually securing it to anything. Later on, I'll add more blocking for the top and the left side. That will help, but for now, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna use more shims to level this fridge. And as you see here, we're gonna do the same process we did on the right side of the wall, where we removed the drywall, access that metal stud, put a wood stud in there to help support our cabinet system. And we'll do it just one more time for the next large cabinet. So while I'm waiting on the battery for the multi-tool to charge, I'm gonna show you how I'm going to figure out where to drill in for this 2x4. We're gonna measure from the outside or the inside of this MDF and try to shoot for the center of this 2x4 that's in the wall. And that is about 32.5 inches. So I'll write that down. From there, we'll measure from the ground up. And I'm gonna go at 2 different points. I'm gonna say 28.5, 20. So 20 and 28.5. Before I go any further, and while that's still charging, I'm gonna show you an example here. So imagine that this is the back side of our cabinet. We don't want to pull it too tight because what'll happen is it'll start to bring the drywall forward. You can see it's bringing the 2x4 forward, and about right there is where we want to be. And that's pretty strong. Even just this little 1/8 inch shim screwed into this little 2x4 that's screwed into the metal stud. I actually want to see if I can bend it. I cannot, but you don't want to continue to drill it, because what'll happen is, I don't know if you can hear it, the drywall will start to crack inside because there's a lot of pressure up against it. That's what we're going to be shooting for. So we get the cabinet set in here. We'll have 2 different points right here. Good morning. Day 3 of this project. The Lowe's delivery is on the way. They just called. They're about 10 minutes away with all of our poplar. Here's the game plan for this morning. We are going to stain the floating shelves that are out there. They're nice and pretty. We are possibly going to sand and stain the poplar, and we are going to get this stuff installed. All right, had to take them apart because I was having a hard time getting this one level, and it's that way, but I finally got it that way. And we're pretty dead on. Just like that, the cabinets are installed. Nice clean lines, except for like right there, but that might just be a issue with that piece of oak. How all that turned out. That one's just a hair off, but I think that'll be okay. We did good, y'all. We did really good. Next up is hanging the TV. This is pretty straightforward. I went ahead and found the center of the wall and the height that I wanted it to be at. Now, with the mount hardware that we have for this TV, I don't prefer it. It only gives you 2 points of contact, one at the top and one at the bottom. I prefer those TV mounts that you can choose multiple points, and that way you can center your TV and still have it on a stud. After the TV is hung, we'll move on to our supports for the floating shelves. Again, this method, there are multiple YouTube videos out there about how to build this. I am basically just using 1x2 premium pine for my supports. This is very structurally sound and it's straight as opposed to the cheaper pine that you can get at your big box store. So we'll cut everything to the right size, and then what we'll do is use pocket holes to put it all together. Pocket hole screws to put it all together. And now we're on to possibly the most tedious job I have ever done. If you think sanding is tedious, it is. Try sanding 15 of these 12-foot 1x2 poplar boards. I did 15 of them. My hands were absolutely destroyed. There's gotta be a different way. There's gotta be a better way to do this. There is a different way. It's called not doing this on the floor. And maybe I should have used just a little block, a little hand sander as opposed to the circular sander or the orbital sander. It was really hard to keep this thing flat. Approximately 1 eternity later, we are finally finished with the sanding, and we can use our conditioner for all the wood, wait for that to dry, and then we'll move on to staining, the same thing that we did for the floating shelves. 15 pieces of poplar cut. I cut them down to 115 instead of 114 just in case we get any kind of variation in height. But those are all cut and sanded, and then we've got them laid out here, and then I put a layer of the pre-conditioner or conditioner pre-stain ready for the stain, but I'm not gonna do that until tomorrow. I probably should wait till tomorrow because it's 6:36 and Jess literally just texted me and said, "Do you just live at the office now?" Ha. Well, Jess, there's a lot to be done here, so yeah, I kinda do live at this office. But we're kind of in the home stretch at this point. We've made some pretty good progress. All right, let's go home. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Buenos dias, good morning. So here's the game plan for today. Number 1, we're gonna finish our Sonic breakfast. We're going to get these stained. While those are drying, wire the TV through the wall and down behind the cabinet. Maybe install the baseboards a little bit. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and install these slapped pieces. First and foremost, we need to cut our baseboard and install that here. Okay, I just cut my spacer. It is, which 1.26 would be right above 1 1/4. And as you can see, it is literally right over 1 1/4, which is about 1.26. And just like that, the slat wall is installed and it looks fire. The spacing worked out perfectly. Over here on this side, we've got just enough to be able to put a little piece of paneling right here just in case this doesn't turn out the way we want it. That worked out great. Everything else looks amazing. The only thing I wish I would have done is on this corner piece. I wish I would have bevel cut it on the back, but I don't have a table saw with me, so it's already dark in this room and you're gonna have a dark paint. You've got a dark slat wall. You're not really gonna be able to tell the difference between the shadow line and the stain of the slat wall. So now we've got to clean up this absolute catastrophe that is our workspace. Get it all cleaned up so that Jess can tap in and start painting this. She has entered the game. I'm gonna clean all this up really fast.
All right, progress report day. I don't even know what day this is because I have day 5. I've yet to be here until day 5. So we got some wonderful wood slats on the wall.
Beautiful.
Justin did all of that. He's amazing. I don't think anything's changed over here in this section.
I did have to trim this partition board because it was causing this trim piece to buck out a little bit, and if you were to look down the line of sight, if your line of sight were to go down the cabinet here, this section bowed out. So I did have to correct that, but it's fixed. And
we've taken up some trim. We've added some trim in this section. We've taken up all the rest of the trim, and then I have been painting all night. And
that's what it used to look like, that grayish beige color.
Greige.
And now it's a very warm
creamy white.
Let's go home and eat and rest.
See our dog.
Yeah, he's been alone all day, so see you tomorrow. My back hurts, my back hurts, my back hurts. Let's go. Lock up all.
This is the last little bit.
It needs to be done above the door too.
Get the last spot, Justin.
Gosh, this is probably drywall.
You got it. You did it. We're done.
We're done?
Yeah. I'm at the chiropractor's office and my back has never hurt this bad.
And there's no chiropractor.
And there's no chiropractor to fix it.
It is
Come back, please, Dr. Matt.
It is currently 11:04 p.m. on a Saturday night. But we are officially done, right?
We're done.
Like 99.99% done. There's still a couple of small things, but for the majority of what needs to be done, the big stuff, it's friggin' done, man. There's still a few more things that have to be done. We have to do the caulking. We have to get a granite countertop or some type of countertop put in there, but that might be a little bit down the road. And then possibly just small touch-ups here and there. But for the most part, the job is done. We are super proud of it. It turned out so well. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I am really happy with how this turned out, and I think Dr. Matt is too. What do you think about your new office?
Oh man, we love it. I mean, we've been here 8 years. It was time to freshen the place up. Also, we saw that we needed some extra storage, workspace. One, we wanted to make it cost effective, have a unique design to it. So I think Justin and Jess design knocked it out. I love the feature wall. I love the color. I love the cabinets. We're getting the hardware on. Royal Granite out of Columbia got us a great piece of quartz to really finish the space. Changing some of the paint colors in here, brightened it up. It was a great contrast to the green, which I love. And so yeah, I'm pleased with it, and we've already gotten a lot of great comments. So thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next project.